Hello. Hi. I think everything is set up. And my audio sounds good, right? And I got the music going in the background, hopefully not too loud. Turn it down just a little bit. And let me double check that I've got the right delay on. I do. Perfect. And do you see what's at the top of that list there? It's a fixed and a success. Isn't that exciting? I did some work earlier today to get things working, and that was really exciting. So I'll show that off in just a second. I just need to do a couple of things real quick. Just copy that, paste that, and this music is new. Perfect. How's your day been going? Hopefully it's been going well. Wasn't sure about doing this one or not. Hey, I was able to like sit up without making the camera go all crazy. That's a positive sign too. Very good. And what else do I want to do? I want to turn on Discord. Wasn't sure if I was going to do this live stream or not, but I wanted to, so I did. Okay. I think I'm ready to go. I always worry about starting things. Like once you commit, it feels like you have to like just keep going. But I don't know. Maybe I should let go of that anxiety and just be okay with the world the way it is and just go with it. There's a bit too much lyrics going on in this music. I tried something a little bit different this time, but I'm not really buying it. Let me see if I can switch it over. It's not bad. I don't mind the music. It's just a bit too talky. Rocket League Monster Cat. How long is that one? Posted by Monster. That's a various artist. That's a pick. So the other thing is I got to figure out and make sure that I don't do the wrong sound music, because if I do, then
turn it on.
If I do, then I get copyright notices, and that's never good. So let's try this. This is a best of, so it should be good. My only worry is that there's going to be some talking in the background, so hopefully we don't run into that. But if not, I can just talk to the people in the background if I want to. Okay, so what did I do? I got my React test working. So if we actually look at this build, you can see it starts my local server, and that's still a bit loud. That's better. Okay, so it starts my local server here, which is just a copy of React based off of this URL that gets passed in. And then that all gets built out, and then it runs my actual test. And you see I've got a passing test. The other thing that I've added to this, yeah, Daniel, there is music that's royalty free. I was looking at that. There's YouTube has a whole library of it, but the problem is it's not like a playlist that I could tell. It's just a single one. But I did run it, kind of run out of time. And hey, good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Hopefully your Friday's been doing all right. Are you on leave right now still? Or have you started your thing, your next thing? Okay. What was it? Input change. Yeah, so that passes. And then I actually do upload the artifacts. I thought it would be good. So in CircleCI, I can go to my artifacts and drill down. And I haven't actually tried this yet, but I can just pop that in there. And it didn't work. Okay. Well, that's fine. I was just trying that out. Let's see. There's probably something. Console failed to load. Oh, you know, I bet because it's got this full URL and it's trying to load. Yeah, that's a slash so that base URL isn't. It's trying to load from the very beginning. So yeah, that artifact's not going to work. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. But I do also have test results here that get uploaded, and CircleCI's got some cool little things where it lets you know kind of your test summary. But nice. I'll have to check that out. Sweet. Studying and relaxing and distracting yourself with the live stream, hopefully. Yeah, come join chat if you just joined. I wish I had the chat still going in my in the actual video so that it shows up in the video so that it doesn't look like I'm making things up, but it's there. Okay, so I want to show real quick what I did over here. CircleCI has this background task that you can say. So normally you would do like a ampersand to run this task in the background, but that wasn't working. So instead, I found that you could just do background true, and that makes it a lot easier. And then I'm gonna get rid of the store artifacts because it's not gonna work. And then I added the JUnit reporter so that it works with the store test results, and so you can get your test results right away without having to like come down here and see things. So I still use spec and as a reporter because it's nice to see in here if there is a failure, kind of what it looks like. Well, maybe I don't really need to. I don't know. I don't care. I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. So that is what's going on there. What was I going to do today? So I've done this. My plan is to add some regression tests. So hopefully today I'll just be writing some regression tests for various parts of the site. And what was I going to test? So I've got my local server here. I was just looking through their different test pages, and they have one for a controlled range input. And we could try writing some tests for this one. I'm a little wary of it because it is drag and drop, but let's see. Type of range value equals 14.5. This could be kind of interesting to write a test for. I'm not really sure. You know, on the other ones, it's kind of nice, like in what, inputs? Yeah, they actually have a description of what's going on compared to this range input that I'm not really sure what it's for. But so I may skip over that one and just do something like this one. This wouldn't be bad. So move the cursor to after the 2, type .2, expected result, the field's value should not update. First introduced when it added extra logic to number inputs to prevent unexpected recurrence in Safari. It doesn't say which one this happens in, but we could write a test for this pretty quickly. Let's do that. If my audio or the screen freezes at any point, please let me know. That's been an issue in the past. Oh, and you know what? I brought pillows. Pillows? Yeah, pillows. Oh, like transparent pillows as well. To try and cut down on some of this echo that I've been getting. So let me set those pillows up. a little bit like right behind the mic so it doesn't bounce too much there, and then over here. Okay, that might cut down a little bit on the echo. I don't think it's going to cut down too much, but it might help. Yeah, when I was recording my course, I would just basically build a pillow fort right around my head and then put a blanket on top of me. And that would be how I would do the audio for the course. That's not how I would do the video, but the audio would be done that way. And it worked pretty well. It was completely impractical, but it worked. And it was cheap. I didn't have to go to like a recording studio or anything. So let's write this test. Let's get into it. So I've already got an example test. I'm going to duplicate this file, and let's call this text input. Not tests. Inputs. Text inputs. Text inputs. Let's close that and rename it. Cool. And text inputs. And then we're going to describe, I'm just going to describe this one. And I'll keep that. And you know what? I'll do a before each on all of these. I'm so inconsistent between the space and the non-space. I kind of like the space. There was, I think Crockford mentioned that he likes the space because there's no confusion as to whether you're calling a function or defining one if there's a space there. So before each, we'll load the text inputs page and then wait for container to be visible. Let me double check that container is on there. Yeah. We could actually check, let's wait for text. Instead of wait for visible, wait for text kind of does both. It waits for it to be visible, and then it will wait for the text to appear. Okay, numbers in a controlled text field with no handler. Steps to reproduce. Move the cursor to, so it should not, try this again, should not update. There we go, so. Move the cursor to after 2 in the text field. That'll be interesting. And then I do know how to type .2. So that's going to be a input dot add value, not set value. It's going to be add value. Set value will actually replace the entire input, so that wouldn't be good. Add value is only going to add to it. So I do need to get this input. And good. Input is going to be, let's hope they have it. Input value to text fixture. Oh boy. Text date. So I think I might have to like create a test case container, and yeah, let's do that. So up here I'm going to say let test case Kate container, and then inside of there I'm going to say test case container is equal to $, and this is going to be a test case title. So basically, I want to get this test case. I guess I could just go by the order they're in instead of the title. Yeah, let's do that. Trying to think, because there's no good ID in here, like ID1, ID2, for that specific test case. There is the label, so I could get this label pretty easily, and yeah, I could get the label pretty easily using a text check, but I can't get the actual body and the input as well, because there aren't too many identifying features in here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to base it off of this one. So to do that, I will do a nth child selector. Test case is equal to $, whoops, test case. And it's going to be an nth child of, I always forget, is it 1 indexed or is it 0 indexed? Nth child. Actually, we can just do this. Let's come over here and do $.test case and child of 1, and that didn't even work, so that's what am I doing wrong? Get my CSS selectors. I'm gonna check with W3 Schools. Somebody said that I was reading online. They said it wasn't as bad as it used to be. I don't know. Nth child. Nth of type. Why would that not be working? Nth child 1, nth child 0. Oh, maybe. I think it has to be nth of type, because this H1 and this P are also part of that div. So nth of type. No, but it could be 1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it is 1 index, and I am going to want to start using nth of type instead of nth child. And so the reason I use nth of type is it only looks by that type, this case being a section. And so this is the first section inside this div, whereas nth child, this is actually the third child inside this div, so that wasn't actually working up there. So nth of type will work pretty well. It's not the most stable selector, but sometimes selectors just aren't the most stable. You kind of have to deal with them, get them as close to good as you can, and deal with them changing. Okay, so test case input. So I'll do test case dot, and so this way it only looks for inputs inside of this test case. And I want to get value as number input. Basically, I just want to get the first input. So I'll do something kind of the same. Input and type. And what that will do is that'll get the first element that is an input. Although, you know, that's not going to work because this one is the first of the field set, but this one is also the first of the field set. I'm not saying grab the first input. I'm saying grab an input that is the first of that type. So I can show that by coming here and saying $, which is going to grab multiple. You see it grabs just a bunch of inputs in here. Let's see. So that one is an input, that one, and that one. So it grabs both of those. And so it's not paying attention to which one is the first in the parent. It's just which one is the first of its type inside of anything. So I think what I'm going to do is switch over to using a field set here and saying the first field set inside of the control box. Let's see. We'll do text fixture and then field set nth of type 1, and then I'll get the input inside of that. So I'm narrowing it down to this text fixture, class of text fixture, and then I'm saying the field set that's the first of its type, and there's only 2, and then get the input inside of that. And that's going to be my input that I'm going to be using. So that's going to be my input, and then this move cursor to after 2, I don't even know if we actually have to do this. So I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to expect input dot get value. Is that what it is? Value, yeah. Yep. So I need get value to equal 2. So I'm gonna expect it not to change. That will be a string. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and try running this. Let's pull that over here, and then I can do npm test, and then I'm gonna pass in just that spec. So test, actually, the spec's been updated to where I can just do text inputs. It's kind of a fuzzy match now, which is pretty cool. So this should work. There's my thing. It popped up missing after. So I've got a syntax error. Let's see where it was. That was on line 5. Yeah. Forgot a parentheses. I used to have sublime linting working, but now I don't. Perfect. That worked perfectly. Strange. Okay, I don't think we need to move the cursor to after 0.2 because, let's see, maybe we do. Let's double check this. Because if I'm at the beginning and I type 0.2, yeah, so it doesn't quite recreate because when I press point, it just jumps. So I'm pressing the decimal there, it jumps to the end. So I'm not entirely sure that I'm at that. So let's actually watch the test run this time and see what comes from that. And if you just joined, welcome. Wow, that ran really fast. Welcome to the stream, and say hi in chat. Let me know how things are going, how your Friday's going. Right now, I'm writing tests for the React DOM Fixtures website. So they have this React Sandbox website, and in it, they have a whole bunch of tests that they run through manually just to confirm that things work. And I'm thinking we could run these via automation. And look, they do have effective browsers here. That's cool. Okay, so I need to make sure that I'm on the end of the input. So what I'm going to do is jump over to add value. And let's see what comes from there. Add value to an object. What I'm curious about in here, so it does add it to the end. Let's check how that works. Element ID value is what they use, and they pass the value. So what's element ID value do? Sends a sequence of keystrokes to an element. Let's do a quick test of just adding like a 3. Oh, that's not good. It should have definitely failed on here. See, I knew it was just too easy. Why did that not even fail? And then we'll do a browser.debug here. Yeah, I didn't even add a 3. Oh, I can't add a 3 to it. Is that really how it is? No. You basically can't add anything to it. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Undo that. I'm worried that this isn't actually testing the bug. See the number input text case. Number input. Hey, Ibrahim. May have pronounced that right, may have not. Sorry if I did not. Glad you were able to join. I'm glad you're able to join, and thanks for saying hi in chat. That's awesome. Let's see on this. So I'm not really sure what number input test case they're talking about, but I think I'm just going to call this good because I just don't think there's much value I can add to this. Okay, numbers in a controlled, good. I might, I'll leave it. Okay, required inputs. And you know what would be cool? I mean, I could mark this to only test in Firefox, but I think I'll leave it test on all of them because that's pretty good. Not pretty good. It might as well test on all of them. Is basically what I think. But I could like tag it Firefox. Firefix. Go ahead and tag it Firefox. Just yeah. Oops, sorry, switching over too much. Back, undo, there we go. What I wanted to see is if there's ever a test case. Yeah, so this test case has a whole bunch of different tests inside of it. And so I want to still format it this way. Okay, so required inputs, and then what was it? In Firefox, you should not see a red aura indicating the input is valid. The aura roughly looks like this. It should not show a red. I'll call it outline indicating the input is valid. Just do that, and then my test case is going to be 2. My input is going to be checking the date type is also important because I have an idea. What if we take a picture, what if we take a screenshot of this element and compare it to the screenshot of this element and make sure that they don't match? I don't know. This one's a tougher one to test because it does have to deal with the visual aspect of it, and it's hard to test because see, they have a box shadow, but I'm not actually going to be testing that box shadow. What I think what I'm testing is Firefox has this red outline it will add to invalid inputs, and if they are invalid, yeah, it'll add it, and that sometimes isn't what you want to do. And you know, this reminds me of a Stack Overflow answer I gave a long time ago about Angular red outline Firefox. And I remember it because every time I go back to Stack Overflow, that's like one of my most upvoted answers, and it was just like this stupid little thing that I did a long time ago. There we go. And I don't even use Angular much anymore. Okay, so Firefox draws a red border around the required select boxes. Ah, well, it's a select box, not an input. And then, yeah, all 15, and it was accepted. It's kind of sad that 15 is like my most upvoted answer. People still find it helpful though. So I think it is the box shadow that's the problem here. And choose color, so I'm gonna have to open this in Firefox. Yeah, so see that red outline right there? And I bet if we... That's a Angular thing. So I was gonna try and throw an input in there. Yeah, so basically if you haven't selected something, you don't want it to be invalid at that point in time, I don't think. So anyway, you just set the box shadow to none. So I could test it by ensuring that the box shadow is overridden. Checking the date type is also important because of a prior fix for iOS Safari that involved assigning over default value properties of the input to prevent a display bug. This is triggered by input validation. Oh, cool. I wonder what kind of test they do here. Might have to skip over that one for now. So what do they do? Trying to see in this if they do any sort of CSS change. User agent, so that's mine. I don't want mine. Box sizing, interesting. So Firefox open. Required. I don't see anything they do in the CSS to make that not be a thing. I wonder, let's see. I don't know. I wonder how you recreate this. How would I actually validate this? I mean, truthfully, this is where visual regression testing would come in and be super handy to just take a picture of before and after, and then compare them. Before and after and compare them, but the thing is you have to store the before and the after. Although I could do that. I can store it in the GitHub page. That would be interesting. Do we want to set up visual regression testing right now? That's the question. Some worries about it would be if you're running this on a different computer. Wow, that makes my arms look really gray. Well, my head is still really white. Oh, you know why? It's the software is doing that. That does the green screen. It tries to get rid of the green outside of my head. Kind of interesting. Anyway, I don't know. We might save this one for later. What's this issue? Firefox validation triggers on input component render. So they have that. Let's see what theirs looks like if I can trigger it. Yeah. What do you mean no? How? How are no CSS properties found on an input? There has to be CSS properties. I promise. Border of 3. Browser styles. That's what I wanted. Okay. So what was the box shadow? Okay, so basically what I could do is get the computed value of the box shadow and double check that it's not visible. So if I open up localhost, you had a peek into my past just there. Localhost 3000. And then jump to text inputs. And right here, so if I inspect this element and under browser styles, I should be able to see that the box shadow is turned off. Oh my, box shadow of none. So this is what I can do my assertion on. Basically that it has a box shadow of none. I think that's what I'll do for now. So to do that, it's going to be a fun little exercise in doing a lot of various things. Okay. So test case, text fixture, field set. And then I don't want to add a value, but I do want to, let's see. We want to get the computed box shadow. Assert it's equal to none. Get computed style. I haven't done this in a while, so there's a JavaScript way that you can get the computed style. I think it's just that. And then does WebdriverIO have a style? No. It does have CSS though. Get CSS property. I don't know if this actually gets the element ID CSS property query computed CSS property. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, so I'll do and then we'll expect box shadow to equal none. That's what we want. I might want to move this out into a page object, like a simple page object, just to make it a little bit easier so that I'm not repeating this every single time. So I could instead say test case equals new test case and then just do 1. And then input will be test case dot input of 1. Something like that. Hey. got a message. Huh. That's a good question. Nope, not that one. Okay, property. Oh, I need to get the value from there instead of just the, I'll do value. Instead of just the raw response, I'll get the value from it. So I feel like that would be better. So let's just do that real quick. I'm just gonna do a class test case and then a constructor of index. This dot selector is equal to that out, pop that up to there. I don't want to set that container yet. $index, and then that needs to be converted over. And then get input will be index. Turn this dot container dot $. That out. And then I also need the container, which is going to be a get of container. That's going to return this dot selector. And then here, I can come in there and basically do the same thing. $index. That simplifies things down just a little bit. Enter type to test case.getInput. Of 1. There we go. A little bit cleaner. Moved our selectors out to here. We could probably throw this into a new file and import it, but I don't want to do that just yet. I'll do that in a little bit because I might be modifying it and it'd be nice to just keep it around for later. Okay, so what was I doing? Test case, get input, get the property, and expect that to equal none. And then I'm going to do a browser.debug in here just to kind of poke around and see if I can change some other things. I want to see, I don't have that debug in there though. So if I do timeout, wait for timeout condition retry. So the timeout's up to 2 minutes, but I have this little trick where I do const mocha timeout equal to process.env.debug is equal to true. So if that's true, then we'll set the timeout to be super high. Otherwise, we'll just do our 2 minutes. And then save that and jump back down to timeout and set it there. Just pass it through there. So now, when I run my test file, I can do debug equals true and then npm test, but I'm actually going to do, so that I don't have to remember what spec it is, I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'll run this, and we should get one passing test first. Actually, 2 browsers are going to pop open, and nothing's going to happen because I keep forgetting some things. Unexpected token in the way that I wrote that class. Class doesn't take parentheses. It's not like function, it doesn't take parentheses. Okay, so I'm here. What I wanted to do Oh, I wanted to open this up in Firefox. That's right. I didn't want to open this up in Chrome. I'll go ahead and close that out. And at least did pass. I need to update this. I can't type Firefox. That's like the hardest word to type. That's so weird. And since I am using Firefox, I need to switch away from Chrome driver and use Selenium standalone, which is going to be an issue when I start running this on CircleCI, but I think I can just use Browser Stack instead for that. And then that, so I need to install the Selenium standalone service. I'm gonna do that right real quick. npm I WDIO Selenium standalone -service. And some people I've been talking with have had issues with running Firefox or running Chrome, and I don't know, sometimes this just doesn't work, which is kind of why I was using Chrome driver, because it seemed a little bit simpler. But one thing that I wish is that it would be easier to specify your capabilities so that you only ran in one. So right now what I'm going to have to do is separate these onto different lines, move it up, and then I'm going to comment that one out. And I'm also going to do a .only. And then I'm going to run it again. And let's see how this goes. See if it opens up my browser or anything, or if it just breaks stuff. Nothing is happening. Wonderful. Error. Selenium. Oh. Wait. So since I am using Selenium standalone now, I think I have to set, no, I need to remove the path is what I need to do. And then remove that. Path is, so I can get rid of that. Okay. So Selenium standalone runs under /wd/hub, whereas Chrome driver just runs under the root. Holy. What? Wow, that's an error. It did open up a Firefox browser that does have this little robot dude. So it shows that it is up. So it pops. Okay. I think it was a one-time thing. I hope. Okay, so I am at my debug now. What I wanted to do is go over to here and check this guy out. So let's see if I can do that. Change view, editor view. I want like the full thing. Can't do that. Darn. I was hoping this would be a little bit easier. Because this is inside of an iframe. I can still do it. So I just want to test that I can get this box shadow and basically do like a failing example of the test. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to do this manually by, oh, what? There. Okay. So I'm going to manually go over here. I could have done that through the debug, doing browser.url, but it's just easier to do it like this. I'm going to inspect this element. So I've got an iframe with an ID. So I can do browser.frame, pass in the ID of that frame as an ID selector. frame could not be found. Maybe I don't need... What if I do... Okay, so that updated. So I do have an ID of test input. Let's see if I can just find this right now. No, I can't. So I do need to switch to this frame. Is it itself inside of a frame? Doesn't look like it. So that browser frame should have worked. Let's see. Identifier for the frame to change focus to. Ah, so I need to get the frame first, then pass it in. I guess you can't pass in a selector here. There's no like switch. What are the window ones? Window handle, new window. Okay. So I'll just do this. I'll do let my frame equal $ID, and let's get the ID of that frame. Then browser dot frame my frame dot value. There we go. So we switched over. Now I should be able to run this test input. Didn't work. Oh. Okay. I'm not even looking at the right one. ID test input. What if I just do an input? So it does find the input. Let's try setting the value on it. What if I do root? Yeah, I can't set the value on root, but I can get root, but it's not finding my selector. Am I on that frame? Oh, so it couldn't find my frame. Okay, my frame is equal to $iframe key. What if I don't do iframe key? What if I just do results iframe? How about that? Okay, so we'll do that browser my frame again. And then let's try and get the root element. So it did find the root element. Let's see if it can find my test input. It can. And if I set the value on it, test. Okay, it set the value. That's good. I'm going to set the value back to blank, which re-triggers that. Then I'm going to get CSS. What was it? CSS property box shadow dot value. There we go. Okay, so this confirms that my property will be something rather than none. Let's set that value back to something and then get the property again, and now it's none. Perfect. Okay, so this just kind of, yeah, leave page, that's fine. Kind of help confirm that this works for the most part. It's a pretty valid way of testing what's going on. So I can jump back over to here and comment you back off. And I'm going to run these one more time. Let's just run all of them. And I can get rid of browser.debug. You don't need that. Let's just run all our tests and see how they're going. There's Firefox. Chrome passes, Firefox passes. Awesome, 4 passing tests. I'm gonna commit these in pretty soon. And, oh, that's funny. It didn't actually run this test because I had that only on there. So that's why there were only 4 passing tests. There should be there should be 6 passing tests. That's okay. I'm going to change this file over to be input change events. I think. Jump back over here and what's that called? Text input, input change events. Okay, so I'm going to change that over to input change events.test.js. It when I radio value, kind of update this to be match how I've been writing the other ones. So this was the actual test. Radio buttons group with name changes. Was that it? Toggle. Yeah, this was it. And that was IE9, so I'm going to do a describe. Can't type. What should it not do? Expected result should switch between the first and radio second button. When a radio value and name changes at once? Well, that's different. Oh, okay. That should switch. Okay. So I can move this out. Oh, playlist ended. That was a nice one. I was just thinking that I liked that playlist. Okay. I'm gonna move this into a before each, like we have on our other one. And the same thing here. And then I could probably do a little bit more to clean this up, but I think I'll leave this for now. And then let's run these tests one more time, because I didn't actually run all of them in all the browsers, and I have made an update here. And then I think I'll move this test case out to be outside of that one specific one. There's one. Great. Okay. 6 passing tests. Let's go ahead and add these in. Add new text input tests. And I'm going to move this out to a new file, module.export test case. And save that as, which I have to save as pages. And this is going to be test case.page.js. And then in here, I'm going to import that. So const test case is equal to require dot slash pages slash case.page. There we go. And I need to update my configuration file with that in order to exclude that folder test slash, and I'm actually going to exclude anything that ends in .page.js. Oops. That way, it just ignores it all. Okay. Capabilities, Firefox. Pretty good for now. Let's double check that change. And, well, I was gonna say these tests are available if you want to check them out on the GitHub page. And I was gonna paste it in the chat, but URLs in chat don't work all that great. See, hey, it did that toggle. That was cool. Okay, but I'll go ahead and show here klamping/react WebdriverIO tests. And I think I can paste it if I leave the protocol off. See, I paste that in chat for you to check out if you want to look at the tests, see how they're set up. And let's see, this is not going to pass anymore once I push this up. And the reason for that, what did I change? Oh yeah. Move test paste to file. So once I push this up, it's not going to pass because it doesn't have a Firefox built in. So what I'm going to look at now is the Docker. So there's Docker Chrome driver. We were using that. If I jump over to my config file, you see I'm using Docker Chrome driver. I know that there's a Selenium standalone, and I wonder what it comes with. Selenium standalone Chrome. There's a Firefox, standalone Firefox. What's the difference between Node and Selenium? Docker images for Selenium grid server. Oh, standalone hub and nodes. So what I really need is a hub. Hub with a node with 2 nodes. I've never set that up though, so that would be kind of fun. Let's see if I can get this working. Start a grid is with Docker Compose. So yeah, I've got Node Firefox, Node Chrome, and the hub, all in a Docker Compose file. And what I wonder is if they already have something like this already set up. Docker Compose. Let me think. Because the problem is, if I just do the 2 standalone Chrome and standalone Firefox, it's going to, the ports are going to both try and hit 4444. They're both going to try and hit 4444 and kind of conflict with each other, so that won't work. So this just starts the, let me see, Docker, sorry, not Docker, CircleCI Docker Compose. Install Docker. With the Docker key, install it in the primary container during job execution. Then to activate the remote, do that. Overhead delay with machine as well as private Docker server. So I ran into an issue last time I was looking at using setup remote Docker, and that is doesn't expose ports for you to use, which makes things difficult. Building Docker images. So like it could start the Selenium hub and run it, but you couldn't actually ping that Selenium port because just not able to. Yeah. No, where was it? Yeah, overhead delay, contract Docker key runs the executor on a shared Docker server that's already provisioned. Yeah, so this is like if you want to have a service that builds Docker images to post to like a hub, to post to like Docker Hub, or wherever you want to serve it. I don't know. What if network create grid? I've got gnats in my office and it's so annoying. So via Docker Compose, I could basically duplicate what's going on here. Okay, so what I would do is that, then do kind of the same thing here and there. Really interested to see how this works because a lot of folks will get started on this and they can get it to run locally, but then they try and get it run on their build server and they don't want to use a third-party service like Sauce Labs or BrowserStack, and it causes, they just run into issue again and again. So I'm trying to see if I can get this working. So I start these three and then I need to share some ports between them. As you saw, volumes depends on an environment. Docker machine, choosing. I wonder if they have anything in here. So I need to set the port, and then I need to do the net. And then here I need to do my host. And I need to set a name. So I'm going to copy this over because I basically need to recreate all of this. So in my CircleCI file, there's going to be jobs and steps using containers. Here they do the image. Here they do 2 images. Here they use workflows, but I'm not really wanting to use a workflow right now. Just hide the example configs. These are ones already out there. I really just need the deploy reference. Let's see if it's under reference. Configuration, yeah, I think this is what I need. Docker, machine, branches, steps. Yeah, that's Docker. Image, name. Okay. What you waiting for? I already listened to this one. This playlist. It happens a lot. Okay, so how do we do that? There. Image. And then name is Selenium Hub. I already got that part. And then I need like a port, right? Environment, a map of environment names. So this one, these two have environments to them. Defined here, and that's going to be hub host. So I can get rid of that. Oops. How's that environment defined? env, oh, environment, and then it's just a mapping inside of there. Hub host, Selenium Hub, right? No, it's a colon. Tabbing is right. Tabbing is a big thing in Docker. 1, 2. Docker dash image environment. Auth. Entry point command user environment auth and AWS auth. So what else? We need to create a network. We need you to run on a port, to expose a port. And we need to pass in the network. And then we also need to do this volume nonsense. Okay. So they all need to use the same network. Let's see if I can find that. Network. Nothing. Command environment. Let me look something up. Give me a second. Actually, yeah, I can do it there. Oops. Ah. Oh, there's some keystroke that will show me my hidden files. Not in there. Okay. And I couldn't remember what it was. So that was not what I was looking for. So I need a port option to be passed into Docker. Executor, place for step secure. Using Docker. It says if I want to use Docker Compose, it requires using remote Docker. And I think that using remote Docker has the same issue with the ports not being exposed, which doesn't work. And that's basically the same thing. NetGrid. Well, what if I roll the dice and let's see if I can get this to work. I'm guessing it's not going to work. Try using Selenium. See how that works. And then while that's running, I'm going to search Selenium Hub CircleCI and see if anybody else has tried this out before. Let's see how they do it. We don't need a Docker file. This just runs it, but it's not using the images. This is using standalone Chrome, which we can do. And this is why I usually recommend people just use something like Sauce Labs or Browser Stack, is that it's just so much easier to get it set up. And you have a lot more features for it, which makes it a lot nicer. They have a circle file. How does theirs work? Do they use the service? Where is it? Services. Yeah, they use Selenium standalone service for theirs. Okay, they have ones that have browsers already built in that look like. Node browsers, a combination of the node and browser variants, include Java, Firefox, Chrome. Okay, so this one actually comes with a browser. That wouldn't be bad. I could use the standalone version that has the browser already in it. Language variants of the node and browser. So I probably want a node browsers. I'm gonna scroll to the top real quick. Hold on. Been through the desert with a horse with no name. Felt good to be out of the rain. Hopefully I did that correct. That was a chat comment, by the way. I just didn't want to just sing it. Hopefully that's fair use as well. Not a performance. This was not a performance. Let it be known. This is not a copyright issue. Android, Clojure, Go, Rudy, Node.js. And what am I using in my config? I'm using Circle Node. So in theory, I could like get rid of all of that and do node browsers, CircleCI, node, and then the tag 8.9.browsers. 8.browsers. There is no 8.9 anymore. but I can do that. What's stretch? What in the world is stretch? Huh. That's such a fun word. Polyglot. 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 Okay. So if I use this and it comes with Chrome and Firefox already, does it have Java? Is the question. Hey, you're interrupting me. Stop it. People, so rude these days. So rude. So I might need to do the OpenJDK with Node. I wonder what version of Node it uses. 10 Node browsers. That's what I would want, right? JDK Node browsers. That's crazy. What is up with all these different variants? How do I know? Latest Node browsers, JDK Stretch Node browsers, JDK Node browsers. What's the difference between JDK Node browsers and just latest Node browsers? I guess I can always just try. So what's that? OpenJDK latest Node browsers. Okay. So I can actually get rid of that line. And then in my configuration, I can go all the way down to the bottom and say, if a browser stack user, then use the browser stack service. Otherwise, and I can get rid of this check and just say push Selenium standalone. Whoa, okay. Before I do that, let's see how this did. Failed. Why did it fail? Didn't even like that. Okay, so I need to check my CircleCI dot. CircleCI, what is the config validate? Good. Git commit attempt switching to Node browsers image. I think I'm gonna take a break soon. Need a little bit of a break. Don't we all? And while this runs, I'm gonna check some things. Oops. So it's cloning, that's good. All that's still working as expected. Okay, still installing. If this fails, I probably am gonna like comment out some of this so that it doesn't take so long to test against. You know, I could probably run this locally too. Because it's not using all the different images, it's only using the one. Why do our bodies want to slouch so much? It's just like, I get in a really good position and then I start working and it's just like slouch, slouch, slouch down. And it's horrible for your back. So why does our bodies are just so adamant about it? I don't know. I need an explanation. Huh. Okay, here's the moment of truth as to whether it's going to be able to find that Selenium standalone server or not. What? That's Chrome. See if we can get Firefox to pass. Come on. Come on. I have a feeling it's not going to pass. But that means that Selenium standalone did install and run correctly. That Chrome is installed. But for some reason Firefox is having issues. Yeah, it had the same issue. Address not available. Some crazy ass backtrace stuff. I have no idea what that's about. Firefox runtime error. Error, address not available. And what's cool is if I scroll to the top, it says it ran with 0 failures, but that's obviously a failure there. But I guess it didn't count it as a test. But it did exit with code 0. Test failed. Let me refresh this page and see if this test summary is updated. I'm just curious. No, it still shows the 0 failures. I guess because that test didn't actually start. Okay, address not available. But that did work. And it was the exact same issue that I had earlier. Way earlier. Is it the exact same one? Well, it had a strange backtrace thing, but I don't know if it was the exact same issue. Don't call me a sucker. So it's a little bit different of an error. I might want to not use download Selenium, start Selenium. So I could use this variant. Which wouldn't require me to use the Selenium standalone. Let's see. Let's try that out. I'm going to give it a shot. Okay, so I will actually pop that back in. If process CI does not equal true, then use Selenium standalone. And come back over here. And before I run that, I'm going to download Selenium standalone. I'm going to comment out this whole thing to kind of skip through a little bit of time. Start Selenium. The other thing I wanted to do, yeah, I think I'll go with this for now. Okay, let's try this. Try using manual Selenium standalone install. Let's try that. Close out of some of these docs. Don't really need them. I really like to use this, but I don't think I'm going to be able to use this on CircleCI. I think that's fine. Okay. Ooh, closing everything out. Let's go back here and see. Wow, that failed quickly. Oh, I missed a single undo. So I just did a git add all, git commit amend, and it just basically adds this commit to my previous commit message, and then I had to force push it because I've changed the git history, basically overwrote what it was. Bow, bow. Wow, that failed again. That was fast. So it did download. I wonder if this Selenium standalone version is like super old. I bet it is. 239, and what was it on? 3.5? Let's, if I go to I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change this. Download Selenium standalone. To do that, I do npm I Selenium standalone. I used to do this back before the Selenium standalone service. And then once that does, I'll do Selenium standalone install. And then here, I'll do Selenium standalone start strat. Okay, let's try that. Not there, there. 32 is running. Oh, that's because this ran installed locally, but it did download. Okay, so that's a simple fix of node module /.bin Selenium standalone, and I'll have to do the same thing here. So I could get around this by doing npm I-g that installs it globally, but I don't want to do that really. I'm just going to install it on my local and then try it again. And then so jump back over to my terminal, add it, amend it, and force push. Okay, it's probably running. Awesome. So the installation worked. Did starting work? I've never seen that much output from trying to start it. Okay, so these errors are to be expected because I didn't actually, oh gosh, jump back over to my code. I commented out this here just to save a little bit of time. So the errors are to be expected. The question is, can I get Firefox to return for me? Oh, these are actual reports. So you can see these are WebdriverIO is posting the session, and this is responding. So I do have the exact same issue on, darn. Okay, so Firefox is failing. Firefox, CircleCI, Selenium. I wonder what version of standalone it's using. Let's go up here. So this installs Selenium Standalone 6.13, but this is the NPM Selenium Standalone. It uses 3.8. It pulls down Chrome driver, Gecko driver, which is what we want. That works. So what's going on? Gecko driver 0.18, and what does this use? I wonder what version of Firefox is installed. This uses 0.19. That's fine. I mean, this is more up to date than this one is. Down to where they get to Firefox, huh? So they are using browsers in this one. Node 7 using browsers. Okay, so they're still using an older version of Firefox. That is okay. Except it, generate images. Let's just search for Firefox on here. Actually, there was an open pull request for, no. Maybe it was an issue. Gecko driver not available in no browser images. Automated testing, please include. What's that? Can we work on some kind of automated testing process? Oh. So I probably need to do this. Okay. Oh, copying and pasting from the internet as development. What would that be? Copy and pasting from the internet as a service. There you go. Install the latest Firefox. So remove Firefox that's in there. Update my sources list. Install the newest Firefox and output the Firefox version. That was pretty close. Get you all the way without relying on a SID unstable distribution. I don't care about that. Who cares about that? Update to latest Firefox. How about CPDDD? I'm practicing CPDDD. No, CPDD. I swear that joke has got to have been made already. Copy and paste programming. There we go. I love that it's an actual Wikipedia page. Wonder if it's gonna rain. No, failure. Oh, that's all right. The failure's okay. This may not be so much. But how did installing that work? Removed it. Installed. Firefox version 59. Awesome, that's good. Reached error page. Oh, that's good. That's fine. These are all okay error messages, and they all have to do with not actually having this server running. So let's add back. Add React server back in. So if this works, I may be able to go back to using Selenium standalone service instead of running it through here. And I think I'd like that. It's just a little bit simpler and more consistent. We'll see, though. We'll see. We will see. Let's do a little shout out real quick to the folks who are helping sponsor, support this live stream and the work that I'm doing. The folks over at Applitools. And it's just like a visual regression service. And you know, I was talking about this earlier about how, what do we have? This text input here, it would actually work pretty well. I bet I could get an account for them for this repo that would allow for us to do this kind of test. Maybe I'll do that next time, is get an Applitools account set up that allows us to run this test, kind of verify that it doesn't change. That'd be pretty good. So yeah, check out Applitools if you're interested in visual regression testing. I'm starting to use them for some of my work, and it's pretty cool, pretty nice little stuff, and it's works really well with WebdriverIO. They just came out with a WebdriverIO SDK. So let's see, Applitools. Instead of that, I think it's just WebDriver. Well, let's see. Selenium Python storybook in here. Here it is. They've got this eyes SDK for WebdirverIO, and I've had some pretty good success with it. They're still kind of in development a little bit. You can see they just committed 5 days ago to some updates. What did they just do? Nice. Yeah, so they're working on it pretty well, pretty actively actually. So I may do like a video recording on it as well, a new video on it at some point. Anyway, my test passed. How awesome is that? All 6 running and passing. And so I'm gonna take that back out and then jump back over here and see if I can get it to work using Selenium standalone. Try using SS service. That's awful. So yeah, that's Apple Tools. Pretty cool little. It's not little. It's a fully featured, pretty cool fully featured service that if you've got, if you want to do visual regression testing for a large team, I highly recommend it compared to just for yourself. I think they have a free version, maybe. They may have gotten rid of it, but let's start wrapping things up. No, I don't want to wrap things up yet. I still have a full hour to go. Let's do it. Please, please, let's. Can we do this, please? Okay, so I'm gonna double check that this passes. If this doesn't pass, I'll just revert back. If it does, then I'll give a thumbs up and be happy. And I'm gonna take a break for about 10 minutes and come back. And I think we'll write some more tests. I think that's what we'll do. Oh, you know, I could check that the API works. I think I got the API call working. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Come on. What I was thinking about also doing is setting up a Lure reporter. I've done that before, so I shouldn't have too much trouble getting that running. And then that way we can post the Allure report as an artifact. And maybe do something from there. Don't know. Hurry up. Oh, it was doing something. It just didn't look like it. Okay. A midnight bike ride. That sounds good. I'd love to go on a midnight bike ride, actually. Terrible news. The back wheel of my bike is bent. And it's going flat. So the spokes are all messed up. So I've got to like replace the whole thing. It's passing. They passed. Okay, awesome. Perfect. So, I want a CircleCI badge. Is there just a quick, here's our current build status. So under settings, projects, settings, do I have it in here? Status badges, there we go. Branch, master, API token none, preview failed, markdown. No, it shouldn't be failed. Do I need an API token? I feel like I shouldn't. Let's add that in. And then I think it's skip CI. And by that I mean skip CI so that it doesn't run on, basically so it doesn't run another build, because I don't need it to. So that didn't work. I think it's CI skip. So it's showing as failed. Why is it showing as failed? Oh, because it's the wrong repo. Dir. Did I have a token? No. Let's see if this... No, that didn't work either. There's no dash. Dang. Okay. Live and learn. Failed. Still shows as failed. Odd. Why are you showing as failed? It doesn't make any sense. You haven't failed. Do I have to like rerun my build? Webhook notifications. Okay. Okay, whatever. That's under builds. Did the music stop? No, I got 2 minutes left. Let's see if this still works. Okay, so it is trying to build. And this should be updated soon, right? What? What's going on? Came back with a good response. Status not running. Oh. No, I'm posting. Is that not how I run a new one? Oh well. Later, dude. Oh, there it is. That was weird. For some reason, it wasn't running. Okay. So that did work. Okay. What do we got? Okay, I'm going to go on a break. See y'all in a little bit.
socials to see more info on that. And here's one of our featured artists. Take it away.
Hey guys, it's Protostar. I'm so excited to be able to show you my song, New Horizons. It's been a big dream to get a song into a video game, and to get one into Rocket League just feels unreal to me. Much love to the Twitch crew for
Hey.
letting me produce all my new stuff.
Back.
The track was driven by you guys. Hope you
That was good. I had a crunchy sun butter and jelly sandwich and a banana. It hit the spot. Just thinking about it, it just makes me so happy. Just to have that. The crunch of the sun butter. Can't do peanut butter. Son's allergic to nuts. But I can do sun butter. And it's just as good as peanut butter. A little bit more expensive. A lot of it more expensive because peanuts are cheap. And sunflower seeds, not as much. Not as much on the sunflower seeds, but still good. Still really good. Okay. Let's jump back into it. What are we working on? So we do have this browser stack stuff here. I think I'll leave it as is for now. You want to write one more test? I think we do. I think we can do that. I think we can write another test and keep it going. Okay. Cursor when editing email inputs. Type user at example.com. Select at. Type dot to replace. Text fields cursor should not jump to the end. Okay, so this is a good one to test because this is like a pain to test. So you have to select the at and okay. We're gonna have to do a little bit of JavaScript in here to select it. So I like this test. This is a good example. So hold on, let me jump. So I'm at 205. Using, I need to find the other timing, but what else did we do today? We, what did we do? Write text. Start the test. Update CircleCI to run Chrome/Firefox. So we did that. And then I did a break, and now I'm running this. Okay, back to here. Switch my screen like 10 times. Should not jump to the end. Okay, so we are on test case, what? 1, 2, 3. Input number 1. And what are we gonna do? We are going to type user, select at, and type. This one, I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. I could simulate a key event, maybe. So this one's pretty easy. It's just gonna be input.setValue. Have I used? Yeah, I have. Oh gosh. Trying to replace single quotes with double quotes. And I'm trying to just be consistent about it. I'm used to using single quotes, so that's why I keep typing it all over the place. But the repo I was basing this on used double quotes. So I'm trying to be consistent with that. Just going back and forth. Okay, so here I'm going to need to do some sort of browser.execute. And use web API to select the at. This is at position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so browser select text in input. Let's see, all HTML text selecting there. That's what I wanted. Selection start and selection end. Input element set selection range. You know, there is the execute, but there's also selector execute, which is what I really want to do. Because divs single selector array of selectors function. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna want selector execute because I do need to pass in the specific input. So instead, I wonder if I can do, I don't know if this is supported. And the range is going to be 1, what's that at? 2.5. So let's see if I can, oh, darn. Let's do it here. Paste that. And then I'll get this input $0. Oh, it's just $0. That gets the current input that I'm selected up here. So $0 set selection range. Oh, that stinks. Inputs element type email does not support selection. Oh, darn. What could be going on? Browsers, why would it not support selection? Is that like a security thing? I bet it's a security thing. Yeah, same thing. This is in 2014. just a second. Well, darn, I was really excited about this one because I was going to get to use execute script, but I don't think it's going to work. Wow, that's a lot of discussion. Wow. Um... Oh gosh. That's a comment. Yeeks. Wow. So I'm trying to figure out why they don't support it, but I don't think it's gonna help me at all. And there's a lot to read through. So darn. That's a real bummer. Actually, I did want to save this. I'm going to save this URL because it was pretty helpful. There. Darn. Oh well. I guess what I'll do is I'll just do a skip and is not supported. Yeah, I'll just throw that in there. And what would it have been? It would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 to 5. And I could actually test that out by going over here, changing this input type to text, and then do that same thing. Right? Why is it not selecting? What? Should be selecting that. Strange. Okay, well, I'll just leave it at that. And I will get the value and just write the sample assertion just because. Expect to equal and wasn't the issue in here that should not jump to the end? So I'd have to also get position of cursor and yeah, I'd have to do that too. So that's a bummer. Okay, what's next? Cursor when editing URL inputs. So let's see if I can set the selection on this URL. I can. good. That worked. That worked. Select www, press backspace, delete. The text cursor should not jump. Okay, that's good. Delete, and it shouldn't jump to the end. Awesome. So it's basically going to be the same test, just with different initial setup. So that makes me happy, because I get to do, I get to do what I wanted to do, which was run the selector execute and do some other stuff. So type that. I can get rid of that comment because it's not really needed. Select dub. Oops. And what's the selection range for that? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that should be 7 through 11. 7, 11. Yes, there we go. Okay, and then I need to press the backspace. Ooh, that's a good one. Input.send keys. It's going to be backspace. This isn't actually background. That's not the actual thing. It's a little bit different from that. I think it's okay. So for one, it's just called keys. Send a sequence of keystrokes to the active element. Yeah. Okay, so I don't need to do input.sendKeys. I do browser.keys, and then I need to figure out which one to send, backspace. So I think I can just do backspace like that, and it should work. And then I'll assert the value. Input.getValue, and then assert field value is correct. So the reason I moved this down is I don't want it messing up with the position of the input cursor for whatever reason. Okay, sequence of keys to type. Array must be read. The server should flatten the array single string. Okay, and then I can close that. What was it I was going to do? Oh, browser get position of caret input. This dot caret dot start. Yeah, that's what I want. So if I go back here, take that out, replace that. Caret is not a function. That's jQuery. Selection start. That's better. That's a lot simpler than what was going on there. Okay, perfect. Right? And then selection end is 11. What if I do that and then do selection start? 16, perfect. And selection end would be 16. Okay. So I can do this. So this is going to be good because I need to return the value of that. So cursor position, and then I'm going to expect it to be something. Let's see what that value is going to be. So I will copy this in. I will delete that. And then I run selection end, and it's going to be 7. Okay. Great. So this should be working 100% now. Let's try it out. Only hop back over here and npm test, and I do just want to run that single text input. And yeah, it'll run in both browsers. That's okay. I'm out of tea. Input is not defined. Okay. So what happened here is it set the value, and then darn. Let's try it again. And I will comment out Firefox for now. And this is where I wish I could just put a specific browser. I guess I could do that. Set selection range is not a function. Okay, so I wonder what input it's coming back as in here. Oh, this is difficult because, yeah, I need to do a browser.debug in order to open. So here I want to open the Chrome developer tools so that I can get this console log, because this isn't going to log out to my test window. This is all running inside of the browser. Okay. And then after I want to see what was logged out. So let's run this one more time. Okay, so there, typed it in. I'm going to open up this. Then proceed to continue running. Ah! Darn. I threw an error, so it shut down my browser. Darn. Okay, open up there again. And then Control C. There we go. Okay, so this passed in like all the inputs. So I could do, instead of that, I'll just do browser.execute, and then I'm going to pass in the selector for that input. And I don't know if that's going to be correct or not. I kind of feel like it's not going to be correct. And I'll have to do the same thing here. So with execute, you pass in the function, and then you can optionally pass in values to go into that function. And this is kind of a way of sending data from WebdriverIO into the browser, because inside of here, it doesn't have access to anything outside of it, so it can't actually get to input. So that's why we pass it in like that. Okay, let's try running this again. And see what comes of it. Where we queue has stopped. Okay, it's all the way down there. Bring that back up. And open up the console window. Press Control C again. There we go. So we've got text fixture. So we have the selector that was passed in to our test case. So we have this one correctly. I'm going to need to chain these selectors in together though. So what I'll do is I might jump back to that selector execute. This is why I like this test, because there's a lot of depth to it. You've got to run this JavaScript in the browser, and then you've got keys that you're doing set value. Keys confuses people a lot because the way that you pass in like the named keys, and then another browser execute where you return a value from it, and then your basic assertions. So this is a fun little test to be writing. I'm thinking about jumping back to selector execute. So what gets passed into this function? So a div returns with the divs. 68 divs on the page. Divs.length. So yeah, let's do that. Switch back to selector execute. And I think that has to be, let's see how they do that behind the scenes. Or it's just like execute when you can use selectors pass h1. Let's do the function. So how does this do it? If selector is equal to function, then assume that you didn't pass in a selector. Last result dot selector. Create selector script. Sure, client side support. Execute full script. So that was, where was create selector script? Is in script / create selector script. So we come back here and scripts and create selector script. So this is going to create a script, find strategy. Get, stringify, get. Kind of really confused as to what this actually does. I know it runs something in the browser, but So it runs query selector all, is what it looks like it's gonna do for me. So, I mean, it's kind of 6 of one and half a dozen of another, whether I use selector execute or pass in the selector. Let's just do selector execute. Const I'll need to basically create test case.container.selector a full and then input.selector. Log that out, see what comes from there, pass that in, and then this is going to be selector, and then I can come back down here, cut that out, paste that, and then I'll have to do something like $. No, that's not the selector, that's the actual input. That's right. So I'll leave that there. Change that over to selector and save it. And let's see what this does. It reminds me of like video games. Okay, so it does grab that input, which is what we wanted. Is it the same input though? Yes, it is. Okay. Perfect. So what I could do is uncomment that again, or yeah, do that. And I did get that selector input there, perfect. Let's run this test one more time. And I should see it try and select. Oh, it's in the debug? Input set selection range is not a function. Oh, it has to be input 0 because this comes in as an array. That's right. And I need to update that input 0.selector start. Let's try that. So I should see it do the selection when it pauses, and I didn't see that happen. Darn, what happened? Oh, it did do it. I just have a browser debug up here. I forgot I had that browser debug. Let's just pause for like 2 seconds and see what happens. There, it did the selection, deleted it, and perfect. Okay. Woohoo! That worked. That was fun. I really like that test. That was cool. I really like that. So I create a new test case, page object, get the input from it, set the value, create a selector, here, and then this could actually be like a, if we're doing this often, I'd probably want to make this an add command kind of thing. And hit the backspace key to delete it, type, and that's a invalid comment there. Let's update that, backspace.delete. Get position of input cursor and assert not at the end. So I get the cursor position and assert is equal to 7, and then perfect. So let's run this in Firefox as well and see how it works. And I think I have time for one more test to write. Perfect. Chrome passes. Firefox does not. Firefox is just like, what the fudge? Listed resource could not be found. Actions. Nothing is easy. So was it on keys? Let's see. Well, welcome to the stream if you're just joining, by the way. I'm debugging some Firefox issues. So, okay, so it likes this. It's fine with that part. Let me try browser.keys and see. Yeah. It doesn't like the actions. Huh. Okay, and there's nothing in WebdriverIO about this? Protocol keys. I did that. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does. This dot actions, type keys, keys. Cool. What's the resolution? Locking issues to prevent Me Too comments. If you aren't using grid, then the issue is in the client bindings and you need to raise a separate Selenium. Grid does not handle, but I'm not using grid. So that shouldn't be an issue. So he says it has been fixed. Actions in Selenium and Firefox. Let's see, what actions does it actually try? It tries the key action. What? Any sort of resolve, locking this. Okay, same thing. Hold on. So this was actions are not implemented. So what's going on here? It might be that your client isn't setting. These don't issue. Use this issue for support. You should check implementations across actions in Marionette and Gecko Driver. Golly, please format. Okay, here's a rant. All you gotta do when you're pasting this in to make this look so much better is use 3 backticks. 1, 2, 3, like that. Markdown does great support for that, and it looks so much better. So if you're ever going to paste logs, just please do that for me. Make that change. Make that a thing, because it's really difficult when you're looking through it and somebody pastes multiple logs in, and in between them they write some text that's like important to read, and then you can't read it. You can't understand it. So closing this as it's implemented. Huh. Oh, darn. Would that be an issue in WebdriverIO then? Let's see. Issues. Cannot send key. Wow, that doesn't happen too often, that the thing that you're running into is just right there. Let's see if this. And again, that's a little bit better. Yeah, so this is what it looks like formatted. So see how it doesn't wrap, and that makes things a lot easier as well to read through. This is formatted, so that looks so much better. Okay, bug, help wanted. Selenium can no longer send keys to Firefox after upgrading Selenium and upgrade. So that's been closed 5 days ago. Oh. I wonder if keys is no longer an endpoint. If you're trying to hit the actions yourself, you need to make sure the payload agrees with that. Yeah. Cool. Always match. So this is like trying to find the older version, I think, of Firefox. Okay, so we've got an issue with Firefox and the way that keys is implemented. Let me open this back up. They said, okay, so yeah, they try and hit the keys endpoint, and that's not supported by Firefox right now. They need to do use W3C path if old path failed. we need to switch this over to actions, but that's not there yet. So that would actually be a good thing to help out with at some point. Let's see. I'm gonna add that to, I've got a list of like things I'd love to do if I had 5 days to do them. Yeah, and that's one of them. Cool. But I also wonder if this is going to be updated in WebDriver version 5. This guy right there. Then it's under WebDriver. Protocol. Nope. Source. Command. No. Yeah, there's actions in here. So whenever version 5 comes out, it's probably just going to resolve this anyway. So maybe that's not worth the time spent on it, but we'll see. If I get bored one day, which isn't going to happen. Got kids, and so you don't get bored with kids. Well, you get really bored with kids, you just can't do anything about it. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So what I want to do then is not run this in Firefox. So I can say Firefox. Basically, I don't want to run it in Firefox. Firefox no longer supports keys. Oops. Driver endpoint and this command fails. Let me see. I bet I could get around it by doing actions. Let me see. What does actions do? Okay, so it runs actions. Take a slice of an action, input source action. Yeah. Command takes a list of input source actions, pointer key or none. Okay. For each action in tick. Keyboard actions. I just heard this one, this song. Okay, let's throw the browser debug in there, and I'm gonna try seeing if I can replace that with a key. ID parameters action. So if I jump back over to here, what do they run? They run type, ID of keys, and actions. So I don't need to do this to be consistent. Just a second. 250. 250. Actually, it's more like 245 actions in browser. Actions endpoint is what I'll call it. Okay. Actions, type pointer move. So I don't want that. I want key down actions. Type key down and value. So how does this work with a backspace? Key be the normalized key value. So So I feel like I could do type is key down, and then the value is backspace, right? And value. Where do they get value? Is equal to key. Okay. And key up actions. Let's do that. Okay, so what do we got? Pointer. So that's a pointer type. I'm do value, and then I need to do basically the same action. That's going to be a key up. So I press down and then I press up. That can go away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try running this action and see if that works. So I need a debug equals true, because if that doesn't work, then I want to spend a little bit of time running this command. Oh. Yeah. Is that how they did it? Browser actions, yeah, it's an array and the type, okay. So it didn't like actions. Now I have to figure out what the endpoint is for actions. I don't think I can find it. There's actions API. Key down so I can key up. How about this? Browser actions Selenium backspace. This is an old one. I need to return in just a second. I will be back in just a second. Okay, I'm back for a few more minutes and then I'm going to call it a day. Double check that that works. Okay, that's still working. Good. I need to find a recent example of this. That's with send keys, which is not what I want. Actions. No. This looks recent, but it seems to be move to element. That's not what I want. Darn. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is just not, oh man, skip this test in Firefox. I don't really know how to do that. I was going to, darn, okay, just a second. To do, so we should switch to using actions instead. I'll point that out. And I'll leave that there for now. And I think the last thing I need to do is figure out how to run how to skip this test in Firefox. So that gets into something called Mocha tags. And let's see. There is a Mocha tags describe integration test. Okay. So in my configuration, I can set I can exclude certain things. So I can pass in specs to run. But it's not that I want that. I want it to I want it to not run specific tags when running in Firefox. So not specific files, but specific tags. And that is complicated because you've got your Mocha ops down here, and that's where you would tell it to pass specific tags. But that's not based on the it's not based on the browser that you're running it in. So I could just check. I could do a simple thing and say if browser.options capabilities.browser name does not equal Firefox. And not ideal at all, but it may just work. Let's try this. And this might be just a short little workaround. If it works, it's only going to run for a second. Oh, I guess it's running all the different tests. Cannot read property browser name undefined. I thought it was browser.options. Oh, Maybe it's capabilities. And then I'm only going to run this test. Desired capabilities. That's what it is. Try it again. Why did it run twice? Oh. It ran twice because I have Chrome still in there. So I can comment that out for now and try running it again. This should be super fast. I bet it's lowercase Firefox. And then while that's running, I'm just going to say temp work around to skip this test in Firefox. Like that. Okay. So it passes. Mocha mark test as pending. Test.skip, what's test? Test gets passed in, test is equal to this, so that would be this dot skip. I hope this works, because this would clean up this a little bit more. I'd be able to move that code outside of the if statement. Perfect, okay. Awesome. So what I can do is I can move that there, and then say if it is equal to Firefox, then skip it. Otherwise, go ahead and run the code. And I like that because this is just like it's a lot cleaner than having to wrap all the code in that. So let me run this one last time with both. Make sure that in Chrome, it runs the tests and passes, and then in Firefox it skips the test. And then I'm gonna call it a day. I promise, I promise, I promise. So this is in Chrome. Firefox is running on the other screen. You don't see it. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna save that. Double check everything here. I should check my apostrophe, my quotes to make sure they're not single quotes. Not there. Okay, perfect. Awesome, okay, it's good. I'm gonna push this up. Status, add, commit, add cursor edit tests. Push that up. Whoa. Did I do like a git commit amend somewhere? Okay. That should allow me to do it. So yeah, I had edited that README file on here. It still marks as failed, even though it passed. Why? Master. That's so odd. Why is it marking as failed? Obviously, it passed. Passed just fine. I don't know. Okay. That's it for the live stream today. Thank y'all for watching along. It's been fun. And I will be back next week at 2 p.m. Central Time to do another broadcast on this. Let me add a quick to-do, add a few more regression tests to the mix. I think we did that. I think we added a few more regression tests to the mix. So next time, I'm gonna mark this as done. Set up a reporting tool like a lure. I think we're gonna try and do that next time, since we've got some decent tests running. And what do we have so far? I don't know. Let's see, did this finish running? I was trying to see how many tests we have running right now. Not there yet. We've got like 8 tests maybe? I mean, it's really 4 because it's 4 times 2 because there's 2 different browsers. But I'll still count it as 8 tests because you still have to work around a couple things. Maybe 7, just to be honest. Anyway, so that's that. Thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in a week. Have a great weekend. Bye.